As I started to address last time, the state of relationships is a disaster. Dating in this culture in the United States can be an absolute nightmare for both men and women. Everyone in our culture is pushed to fixate on themselves and to find instant gratification. And while political and social pundits and propagandists will point the finger at men, always men, across the political and cultural spectrum, there are other obvious problems. Now, I'm going to bring up data related to online dating. This holds genuine significance because a large percentage of people of the dating population use online dating. According to one survey conducted by OnePoll Forbes Health, 45% of respondents, and that's 5,000 respondents in total, a significant amount, said dating apps were the top place to find dates, versus 33% who said it was by being connected by a friend, and 32% by meeting people at concerts and festivals. I will try and go through these points as quickly as I can. An engineer from the dating website Hinge pointed out in a 2017 Q&A article that half of all likes sent to women go to about 25% of women. Half of all likes sent to men go to a much smaller segment, about 15%. Taking a step back, some 15 years in fact, an article came out addressing data from OkCupid. Now, what has obviously stuck out for most people, it seems, from this article years later, is the fact that women rated, this is 15 years ago, women rated an incredible 80% of guys as worse looking than medium. This has led some commentators, one of my personal favorites is Homath, to interpret this as 80% of guys being invisible to women when it comes to dating and relationships. The obvious reality here is that the math does not math. As the article notes, however, when women message, they adjust their expectations slightly, or again, this is 15 years old. And I will come back to this specific point. As far as rating attraction is concerned, interestingly enough, men rated women along an even distribution. This is actually how averages should look, mathematically speaking. In other words, I would actually argue men's ratings of women actually fit within the reality of averages. The problem the author of the article highlights, though, is the fact that 2/3 of male messages went to the top 1/3 of women. So it didn't quite match with their ratings of attractiveness. But here is the problem for the women, though. If the data was based off of messages first sent, well, women messaged first far more infrequently in comparison to men. This is such a significant problem for women that even the dating app Bumble, which built its brand on empowering women by making them message matches first, Bumble has changed its platform, is the bottom line. At least in the past several months, women no longer must make the first move. Women can add prompts pre-made in the app to add to their profiles for men to respond to. This is not the same as messaging first. The main point I am getting at here, the idea that women are just inherently selective. This does not account for the fact, and I highlighted this in my last video, does not account for the fact the number of people who remain unpartnered has so drastically increased among both men and women in the last few decades. One obvious possibility to consider is, while everyone is pointing the finger at men,
be better.
that Women's standards have become so high that they are reaching the point where they are selecting themselves out of relationships entirely. Indeed, one popular belief amongst women today is that they deserve the best man that could possibly exist in the universe, even when that ideal is not available. At the same time, these types of women are not even willing to think about what they bring to the table. As I have heard others note, they believe they are the table. They do not think they need to bring anything to a relationship because they believe a man should bring everything to them. The simplest way I know to put all of this is, today, the average woman will no longer accept an average man because she thinks she deserves better by virtue of the mere fact that she is a woman. Again, this is not just the way things are, as if to say this is a problem of nature. If this was just nature, then why were so many men and women partnered before? This is not evolution, pointing the finger at men while justifying any and every single possible behavior from women. This is not going to be a solution to this problem. This is going to hurt both men and women in the long run. And I have a lot to add to this, but I will leave it off there until next time.